Let me get to my prediction. I'm going to make the following prediction. The two publications will be out of business within 12 months. One is Vox, and the other is the Daily Beast. So my prediction is both of those publications will cease to exist within 12 months.
Wow, that's some prediction. Vox and the Daily Beast will be gone within a year. Now, the folks at both Vox and the Daily Beast, they can dismiss Scott Adams as just some creator of a Dilbert cartoon, But you know what? Adams has been amazingly correct in his predictions. I noticed this back in 2015 when a few news shows had him on because he predicted that Donald Trump would be elected president. Now, the hosts of the shows, they sort of treated him with some bemusement. But guess what? Guess who turned out right? Yes, Scott Adams. Now, another thing, and this I really paid attention to because it happened right near where I'm sitting right now, is last fall. Do you remember that guy that was sending out fake package bombs to various well-known people? Well, the big thing was I saw a lot of people trying to predict who this person would be, and Scott Adams came up with a profile of before he was caught of the person that sent out the bombs, and it was complete contrast to everybody else. Well, long story short, they caught the perp, and he perfectly fit the profile that Scott Adams predicted. The perp was apprehended right here in Broward County.
The reasons being different, but somehow similar. Number one, well, Vox, of course, has the problem that their brand has somehow now become synonymous with the worst person who works there. What's his name? Carlos? Carlos Massa? I forget his name. But so he's becoming controversial because he caused apparently some demonetization of Steven Crowder and maybe some other people. And what this did was raise his profile. And unfortunately, his profile is the very worst thing that you could want as your banner.
Having a person demanding widespread censorship for as the face of your company is really, really not a good optic, especially if your company is in the business of supposedly journalism.
I remember the first time I saw one of his videos. So I didn't know him, didn't know he was associated with Vox, didn't know anything about him. I just saw a video. I remember watching the video and thinking to myself, am I watching the worst human being I've ever seen in my life? I mean, I'm not talking about people who are mass murderers, they're worse. But in terms of a person who's not actually, physically hurting anybody, at least directly, I thought, my God, the fake news and the whole presentation seems designed to cause some kind of a race war. And then as it went on, it was obvious that he just was a racist. Of course, that's always an opinion, right? Everybody gets to have their own opinion of who's a racist, right? There's no test. It's subjective, isn't it? Now, if I watched his presentation, and my impression, my opinion, and this is honest, by the way, my honest opinion is that he's just a racist. Now, I get to have that opinion, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, not only a racist, but Carlos Maza also advocated violence. He sent out a tweet advocating the milkshaking of people with whom he disagreed as a way to shut them down.
But anyway, so Vox has two problems. Apparently their writers are on strike. That's not good. Apparently they weren't making money before, and they've just destroyed any hope they have of a good reputation in the world thanks to this one employee. who's so extra bad. I, I don't know how they can keep him on, but apparently they like what he's doing. He gets a lot of clicks.
Yeah, those Vox writers out on strike better demand all they can get right now, because if Scott Adams is right with his predictions, and so far he's got an incredible track record, they won't even have a company that they could be working for, because Vox will be vamoose a year from now.
So I think Vox, their reputation is gone, their business model is broken, and more importantly, they have just painted a giant target on their backs. So from a business perspective, you don't ever want to do what Vox did. From a business perspective, it's one thing to have half of the country, or whatever the percentage is, it's one thing to have a part of the country like you, and a part of the country that says, ah, you're not my thing. Any business can survive that situation. They only need that the people who don't like them don't care that much. Do you get it? Here's the important part. They only need, in order to be successful, you need some people who like you, which they have, but you also necessarily need some people the people who don't like you, to also not care. They just don't care one way or another. They're just ignoring you. That situation changed. Vox now just angered half of the United States. I'm not exaggerating, but there's some large number of conservatives who have just said to themselves, if there were ever a way to legally hurt Vox, I would certainly do it. Because they've outed themselves as not a credible player, not interested in reality, not interested in anything but really creating a bad situation in the country in return for clicks. So when you have that many people who are now motivated to do something to act against your interests, well, I don't know exactly how this will play out. It could turn into more lawsuits. It could turn out to pressure on their advertisers. You don't know how it will play out. But Vox has crossed a line from something that you didn't like but you could easily ignore to something that is now literally an enemy. They're an enemy of the people, but they're a double enemy of the class that they've identified for attack.
Yeah, it is absurd that a company supposedly in the business of journalism is at the vanguard of advocating widespread censorship. It's unbelievable. Oh, and one thing, the name Vox, that actually means voice, which is also kind of ridiculous, because guess what? Vox does not allow any comments from readers. So even their own readership is not given a Vox or voice.
Likewise, the Daily Beast, I think, is unlikely to be around for similar reasons. There are some publications that seem to have crossed some kind of weird line from at least pretending to be something like news or something like, a legitimate publication, to something else, something darker. And so I think both of those publications are unlikely to last 12 months. That's my prediction.
Yeah, the Daily Beast was most recently in the news because one of their reporters actually doxed a forklift operator for daring to post an unflattering video of Nancy Pelosi. Must not be permitted. So, if Scott Adams is right, both Daily Beast and especially Vox, a year from now, it will be bye-bye. And for everybody out there, bye-bye for now.